Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my guest today is Jonathan Royce. Jonathan is the superintendent at Onstead Community Schools in Onstead, Michigan. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
So tell everybody a little bit about Onstead Schools and your role there.
So, Onstead Schools is a small rural community in Michigan. It's in Lenawee County, and our student count is just under 1,200 students. We are kind of a combination of a lake community and, again, that traditional Midwest small town type of feel. So very traditional educational roots with um, community understanding that the future is here and the future is coming. And so um, there is a real understanding that while we value our traditions, we also know that we need to make sure our kids are ready to participate in a global society. So just kind of balancing those two lenses is my role as the superintendent. This is my first year, so there has been a lot of learning taking place for me, and so far it's been pretty good.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. And I love the perspective that you have because I'm uh, education. I was educated in the 70s. That is not the world that we have today. And it is a fast pace, lots of changes. And so, what kinds of things do you see as being um, that you're managing? What are some of the things that you're managing or see as things that even other schools that need to be considered? Because it just feels like you turn around and there's something new, and then there's something new, and then there's something new. How are you managing it?
I think as an educator, so I've been in the business for a couple of decades.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you came up in the 70s. I came up in the 80s and 90s. And while changes continue to happen, some of those fundamentals remain the same. And that's not always a good thing
Mm-hmm.
because outside of these walls, that change is ever increasing. And so figuring out how to support your staff and give them the tools that they need so that they can impact students' lives is what I consider the role of the superintendent is removing barriers from staff so that they can get the things that they need so that they are not stressed out about the things that kind of the superintendent has to deal with. And all they
Right.
have to worry about is those, 20 to 30 kids in their classroom um, every day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I consider my role is to provide the shield of the outside noise so that they can
Mm-hmm.
hunker down and get the materials and the information that they need uh, to help the kiddos.
So, what kinds of things do you do to support your staff? What kinds of things have you implemented?
So a lot of the what I do is soft skill based. So it's a lot of person to person interactions, making
Mm-hmm.
sure that I'm getting out into the buildings, making sure that I'm empathetic to the things that they're going through, understanding that they're the ones that are closest to the kids, and that in my role, I am two or three steps removed. And so understanding that I need to ask them for their input and not just ask, but listen and then consider the implementation of those things that they're asking for in order to support them, provides them a sense of one, being heard, and two, having some control over their environment. Um, and having control for humans helps us feel grounded and safe. And so trying to create a culture where they are um, absolutely valued for the hard work that they do, understanding that dealing with children from, 3 and a half to 18, depending on where
Uh-huh.
you are in that instructional kind of scope, um, is tremendously difficult. If you're listening and you have your own kids, think of the one or two or three that you have, and then imagine a class full of different personalities that as a teacher you're struggling to manage. And if you're an elementary principal or teacher, you have those same 20 to 30 kids every day for most of the day, and you're navigating humans' behaviors, and they're bringing
Mm-hmm.
those behaviors in from environments that you have no control over. So you don't know what those kids are going through, but your job is to be the light, regardless how your day's been. And so that is exhausting mentally and emotionally. And so the
Mm-hmm.
jobs of the admin, for me, the principals, the support staff, and then kind of central office is to support the staff so that they can do what they need to do for the kids. So it's
Yeah.
like those things I mentioned, like what do you need? And how can
Mm-hmm.
I get that for you so that you can help the
Yeah,
kiddos?
for sure. Yeah. And that's a tough job. It's a tough job. It's interesting you said light because we're lighthouse therapy, and we are lighthouse therapy because one of the things that I used to always pray when I was seeing kids. I don't get to see kids anymore because I'm a, I'm in this very similar role to what you're doing, right? And I've been a speech therapist for 31 years, but my prayer was always, Lord, let me be a light in this dark world to the kids that I serve.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what, that's exactly it. And we're there for the kids. We're there to serve, and so you are making a pathway for them, and I love that because it's critical.
Yeah.
It's critical what you're doing.
And
Yeah. So,
we're having we have a I have a fantastic school board. They are mostly on the same page about most things, which makes it really easy for me to do my job because they're supportive and they're not. Uh, th- this group does not have individual agendas, um,
mm,
and they believe in being of service. And so their role as board members is to be of service, and that's how they present. And so from the top down, um, it is about service and about
yeah.
what we can do as a community. Um, the school system is the largest employer in our little
Mm,
town. Um, everybody within our staff either has a kid or has a relative or lives in the general area. And so it's not just teaching here, it's living here. And so we have a large number of our teachers are also coaches. And so it's not just, 8 to 3, it's 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 or 8 to 7, depending on who that staff member is. So it's a life choice.
yeah.
Um, and, you know, sometimes it's not very glamorous and you don't always get credit for it because, everybody has been to school. So everybody thinks they know what it means to be a teacher and they have ideas of what education should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the struggle when it comes to trying to implement change is that people, parents, are nostalgic about what their educational, generally speaking, they're nostalgic
Right.
about
No,
what
I get
school
it.
was.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you try to change things too quickly, you get pushback because that's not what I remember school being.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're implementing change, you got to make sure that you're communicating it in a way that is still grounded in those values and beliefs that the community members remember, or else, as a superintendent, you'll be out of a job.
Right.
So just
Right.
kind of understanding that. My understanding is it's my role to facilitate change in a way that is palatable to the community as a whole, um, by being a good enough communicator that I can speak to. This is what the future looks like it's bringing. Here are the changes that we need to make within the educational system so that we
Right.
can bridge the present to the future in a way that makes sense um, for the community and for the kids and for the staff. Like everybody
Mhm. Right,
needs to be on board, or you're not going to be able to do that. So one of the main jobs as the superintendent is communication
right.
and
Yeah.
creating that vision and communicating that vision and being empathetic to the pain that change will entail.
And nobody likes change. They
No.
don't. Nobody likes change. It's hard. Change is hard. We always resist it. I was my last call. I was like, yeah, I've been coloring my hair for 10 years. I don't like the gray. My
Right.
husband teased me about the gray 10 years ago. So he told me I was getting racing stretch. Well, now I color my hair.
Right.
I don't like change. I don't want to get old. I'm getting there, and it's inevitable. But
Right.
it's like I don't like change. I don't like that
Yep.
change. So.
But
But what do we do when changes happens? We have to either embrace it or do something about it,
right.
right?
And there's the piece that you talked about. So you chose to make a change. So it wasn't hard for you to change the coloring your hair because you
Right.
decided that that was a change that you wanted to make. So when you're talking about change, figuring out a way to frame it so that you're not changing the person, the person is choosing to change so that they
Yeah.
can be more effective, um, is
Exactly.
is ter- terribly difficult to do, but
Mhm.
that is the job and is why it's so hard to do because you have so many different people that you're communicating with and you're trying to navigate their communication styles. So you kind of have to be a little bit of a communication chameleon in order to
Mhm.
speak to each of your different groups of people and then the individuals within those groups and um, figuring
Yeah.
out what people's strengths are and how to put them in the positions to be successful. It's a continually moving jigsaw puzzle that we're
Mhm.
dealing with in education in order to help our students be successful.
Mhm. And yet you're doing it, obviously. And that's fantastic. I mean, you obviously wouldn't be in this role if they didn't think that you could do it. And one of the things too, I think, is adaptability. You communicate. When you've gotten it right, when you figured it out and it's working. Boy, as a leader, But when it doesn't work
So
and
that too.
it's not working, that
Yep. Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
Whoops, we missed the mark. It's so surprising to me sometimes because we have a staff of about 100 therapists that we work with right now. And I think I've got my messaging right, and then I get it out there. And I always tell, and my daughter, we're a family business, so as my daughter is going to take over in the next 8 to 10 years or whatever, I always am talking to her about our plans. And I just you just mentoring, constantly mentoring. But I'm like, if we get more than two questions about what we've put out, we miss the mark.
Hmm.
The messaging isn't clear, and we need to go back and go, okay, what? And that question, they're asking those questions because they don't understand what we thought we were so clear about, right?
Right.
So, I mean, and even as a speech therapist of 31 years, I still don't, you still don't get it 100%, but you're constantly working on it, and you're constantly adapting, and you're constant. And the bottom line to what you do and what I do, and I know you get this, is the children. Everybody wants what's best for their kids, and that's why you get mama bears who don't change it, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Foundation is kind of the kiddos one of the things that I get to do because we're a smaller district. We're all on one campus, so
Mhm.
I'm able to start my day walking through the buildings. So I see those pre-K kids, which are 3, 4 year olds, all the way to our seniors. So I can see the whole range of development
Mhm.
um, in my morning walks. And so just when you see the seniors and you see kind of their affect because they're almost done here, May 8th.
Oh, especially right now
Yep.
in May.
Yeah.
When is graduation for you guys?
We have it in 2 weeks, two or
2 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. So we're close. So this will be my first graduation here, but um, like I can see those seniors, and then I can see, like I said, those fifth graders, and I can imagine that growth.
Hmm.
And to them, they're grown, but to their parents, they are still their babies. So, like you
Right.
said, like that the family um, unit and how families are so protective about their kids, and rightfully
Yeah.
so, and
Yeah.
protective about their education. Like all this is in the mix of an educator, and it's
Yeah.
just things that general public doesn't always think about when they think about sending their kids off, or what those educators are thinking about. Like if you have a good staff, they're thinking about that kind of stuff all the time. Like what are the buttons that I can push to motivate your student, regardless of
Hmm.
their age, so that I can get the best out of them, so that they can be the best contributors to your family first, really, and then
Hmm.
kind of the larger community. So
For sure. For
like
sure.
our job isn't just to build um, avenues for students to be in the workplace. It's to help them be strong members in their family. Also, like we're,
Hmm.
we're supportive of that family, um, and then kind of that immediate community, and then that kind of ripples out. Uh,
Yeah. To
and
society as a whole. Right.
right,
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
what we do here ripples out, and so
Yeah.
knowing that, depending on how that student is coming to us, we don't know what trauma they've had in their life. We don't know which kid is coming to us with a alcoholic parent, or which student is coming to us that has been abused in some way. Like we don't know. All we see are their actions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we have to figure out how to support those kids so that they are fit to be learners and adaptable
Hmm.
and be able to
Yeah.
change and be resilient and all these other pieces.
Yeah.
So it's not just the academics. We need them to be in the right mental space in order for them to even retain information. Like that's
Right.
just how the human brain works. Like if you're
Right.
in a fear state or a stress state or an anxiety state, the information that adults are giving you aren't going to stick in your brain.
No.
So
Yeah.
creating that safe environment and having the opportunity to feed the kids and make sure that they have their snack and like all these
Hmm.
um, essential kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs type of things
Yeah.
in order
Hmm.
to get them to to learn is like first steps. How do you create a classroom culture where they feel safe and they feel part of the class, and like teachers are managing all these little
All of
social
that.
interactions,
Hmm.
little bubbles, little cliques, little social interactions, just to get them to the point where that they can teach them to read, they can teach them
Right.
mathematics, they can teach them the social studies and the science and the PE and the health and all these other things. Um, so like that's step one is
Hmm. Yeah.
is making sure that the kids know that you care about them and that they have friends and that they are not alone.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so that's
Schools are a safe space. That was the sad thing about the pandemic is that they lost that safe space. That was
yeah.
tough. That was a tough, tough time. So, and getting that back is really important. Well, I have one last question. I ask this of all of my podcast guests. So, if you could miraculously solve one challenge in your school, what would you want to solve?
One challenge in the school.
I know there's many.
Oh, all right. Like, that's such a big
Yeah.
question.
It's a
Um,
tough question.
I think,
That's why I ask it of everybody because it's going to show us your heart. It really does.
right.
So,
I think, figuring out a way to give staff the knowledge or the feeling consistently that that they are valued, that they
mm,
matter, that they are the uh, light bearers. If we think of
Mhm.
our kids as light for the future or of the future, um, because they aren't always appreciated. It's Staff Appreciation Week, so
It is, yes. Yeah.
but if they could feel that all the time, the impact that they have every day on kiddos, and just remember that, I think, because we get tired, we get run
Mhm.
down, all got our own stuff, but just
Yeah.
a way to continually let them know how much and how well that when they are at their best, that they are literally sending their love into the future, and the
Mhm.
kids are bearing that. And
Yeah.
so just that idea
Very good.
of I don't even know how to describe it, but
Huh? I get it. I get what you're
they're
saying. Yeah,
going,
you wanna empower and equip your teachers 100%. Yeah,
yeah,
and know that they and I think you are. I think that that's the question is always a tough one because it's just, but it's a great question, and it's a great question to ask because it just is it's who we are. I mean, we love our kids. You love your staff. You want them to be successful. You want your team to be successful, and you work really hard day in and day out to make sure that that happens. And some of it is totally out of your control. There isn't anything you can do,
yeah.
but you just keep doing it. You just keep doing it. You keep stepping into it. And I get that. So, Jonathan, what a great conversation.
I appreciate it.
We really got to see a little bit of your heart, and I love that. I love that you're working very hard for Onstead, and I would love to say congratulations to your graduates in 2 years, 2025. They are blessed because you're there. So congratulations to them. It's such a cool thing to watch your kids that you've worked so hard all year
Yeah.
to get them across that line. So that's fantastic. So
Well, thank you, Jan. I
congratulations to
appreciate the
them.
opportunity.
Yeah. So um, let's one last thing. Where should people go if they want to learn a little bit more about you and your school?
If they want to learn about me and my school, they can go to onsteadschools.us. Onsteadschools.us. Come check us out.
Great. Thank you once again. And thank you for being on the Brighter Together podcast because we are really brighter together.